Electronics giant Samsung is facing heat this morning from privacy advocates over its smart TVs. The company says its voice recognition system not only records personal conversations, but may pass them along to third parties. Dan Ackerman is a senior editor with our partners at CNET. Dan, good morning to you.
Good morning to you guys.
We got a new Samsung TV just about a year and a half ago, and we kept noticing that occasionally it would try to sort of pick up what we were saying. And then it would also visual cues as well with your hands. What is it doing?
That's gesture control right there. With voice control, whether it's on your TV or another product, you give it a command. You want to watch Netflix or change the channel. It takes your voice, sends it up to basically a cloud somewhere where it translates speech to text. A computer somewhere figures out what you're trying to do and sends the instruction back to your product, and that's kind of what happens. But for that to work, your voice command has to go somewhere, and it has to be stored somewhere, so somebody else does have access to it.
And who gets it?
You know, Samsung says when they say third parties, that's kind of a scary term. What they really mean is it's not an advertising agency, but they're contractors. A company, I think it's called Nuance, that does speech to text recognition.
Hello, I'm third party.
Yes, hello. Nice to meet you.
I'd like to tell you something.
We're comfortable with this third party. I'm not sure about others necessarily.
But they say they're not retaining the data. They're not selling it to advertisers. It's more like, internally they're using it to figure out what you're asking your TV to do and sending it back. This is a technology that really is everywhere. We're hearing about Samsung because they had a really scary privacy policy about it. It just sounded weird because it said confidential and captured and used a lot of scare words, clearly written by lawyers, not for human consumption. But your Xbox does this with Connect. Your iPhone does this with Siri. Your Amazon Echo speaker does this when you say Alexa and ask it something. So all these products work the same way. They send your voice instructions somewhere else to get translated, and then the result comes back to you.
But Samsung does say in a statement they do not retain voice data or sell it to third parties. So what does that mean for the company moving forward? And what can you do to protect yourself?
But that's correct. They're saying the same thing everyone else says, which is that they just use it to kind of perform the action that you want to perform. I find voice commands, frankly, rarely work. They're always misinterpreted. You're just yelling at your TV. It's really annoying. Just use the remote control. I turn that off on every product I have.
It did seem like it was trying to figure out what we were talking about or saying quite a bit. So I turned off the voice recognition feature, right, which is the easiest thing to do.
It's just like people who get concerned about the webcams on their laptops and they put a little Post-it note over it, just to make sure it's definitely not on.
Can I quickly ask you the story we had this morning about Apple maybe developing a car?
That is an interesting field because Tesla, obviously a huge company. When I was at the Consumer Electronics Show in January, everybody was very interested in the smart car topic and anything auto-related. I think batteries are so key for that. If they're working on something like this, it's got to be very related to battery tech.
Yeah, but what would be exciting is their capacity to design things that look really neat.
That is true. They're also a company that doesn't manufacture a lot of their own stuff. They work with third-party manufacturers, so they'd be on the design side, and we have to figure out who would make the actual car.
Have we gotten to the point, Dan, it's hard to pick up the remote control and press click? Have we become that guy?
I feel like we shouldn't be those people. we should. My parents used to say, get up and turn the channel on the TV even.
Thank you, Dan. Steve Carell is here. He's coming up next.